Welcome back to Vintage HLC Show and Tell. Back in August, I did a video, it was video number 77, that showed a lot of Virginia Rose treatments. Today I want to focus on one in particular, VR-128, also known as Fluffy Rose. So we'll look at the pattern. This is Fluffy Rose, or that's what collectors call it. However, its official designation is VR-128. There was never really an official name for this pattern, and that's true for a lot of these older patterns. They're just known by their numbers. And this nappy is marked on the bottom with VR-128 in gold over the glaze. You see the Virginia Rose back stamp. That Virginia Rose refers to the shape, not the pattern. And the shape, as a recap, this is a scallop shape with periodic embossing, named after Virginia Rose Wells. Fluffy Rose, or VR-128, is the most common, or one of the most common, patterns on this shape. So we'll start by looking at a purchase order. This is dated 1941. It's from G.C. Murphy. And it says, pattern VR-128, Virginia Rose shape, pastel Cosmos spray. So there's a nice little descriptor there for this pattern. Embossed edges, platinum edge line, and they've even got a little sketch. And they've got some orders here going on for some teacups and saucers and dessert dishes. So this was a G.C. Murphy exclusive for many years. Again, this comes from 1941. So this was introduced, this pattern was introduced at the same time that the Virginia Rose shape itself was introduced in 1933. And we see pieces that are dated all the way to the 1960s with Fluffy Rose. This one is dated, this 36's bowl, comes from 1965. Now we could say that this is a two-sprig treatment, or two-spray. So we have a major decal, this top one, and then we have a smaller one at the bottom on the platter. Same on the dinner plate, a large one and then a small one. Same on the nappy, a large one up top, small one on the bottom. There's a variation. It's VR-178, and it just has one sprig. It just has the large decal. And we can see that on this advertisement, this little flyer. This is from General Mills, and it's dated December 31st, 1950. And it's a little premium, so you could get these coupons and collect the coupons and then redeem them for premium gifts. So here we've got bath towels, here we have dinnerware, there's an iron down below. But in the middle, we have this lovely Dixie Rose dinnerware. This is VR-178, which just has the large decal, it doesn't have the small one in the bottom. So this is a variation of our more common VR-128. They're calling it Dixie Rose here. We generally don't call it Dixie Rose, we just call it Fluffy Rose. And you could get different combinations of pieces based on how many coupons you could send in or cash. So again, that's General Mills, 1950. I will say that VR-178 was offered much earlier than 1950, though it's not as common as the two-sprig VR-128. So some Virginia Rose shapes that I have out. There's the sauce boat, 9-inch plate, 13-inch platter, 11-inch platter, 9-inch nappy, the sugar bowl, the 36's bowl, a creamer, and the covered casserole. So you will find every piece of Virginia Rose with this treatment. You can even find the batter jugs, the syrup jugs. Those are extremely rare, however. But every shape that was made in the Virginia Rose line, you should be able to find with VR-128. The pattern was used on other shapes as well, and this was commonplace with decals, where it originates on one shape and then ends up on many others. We saw this with the underglaze prints from American Beauty, where they end up on Golden Gate and Colonial and Seneca, King Charles, and so on. Well, when they start getting heavily into decals, the same thing happens. So we're going to see this treatment on other shapes. We'll start with oven serve, which has a 3-sprig version. So we've got the large, we've got a medium, and we've got a small on this 9-inch plate from oven serve. This is pattern number OS86. So when this treatment goes on a different shape, it gets a new treatment designation. And here we see it again on a Royal Oven Serve straight-sided casserole. This should not be marked. Since it was not for Royal Oven Serve, it generally is just going to be blank. Now, if this was meant for a chrome holder for Royal Oven Serve, it would have gotten some kind of platinum back stamp. But you can look at the Royal Oven Serve video for more on that. Marigold with 1 sprig, no trim at all. There's no platinum line, it's just blank. And this comes from 1934, so a year after the Virginia Rose shape was introduced. Fluffy Rose on Marigold is not at all easy to find. Pickup piece, cable egg cup. This would have been mixed in with a Virginia Rose set. You'll find other pickup pieces like the Jade Butter Dish, sometimes even a Republic Butter Dish, which is really hard to find. Kitchen Craft. This is KK 328. And let's see if that'll stay by itself. So this is the large decal, but what they've done is they've cut off these bottom pieces so that it would fit on this mixing bowl. This is the 10-inch mixing bowl. It comes from the 50s. It doesn't have the KK back stamp, but it has the 1956 back stamp. Kitchen Craft pie plate with Fluffy Rose. This one will be marked Kitchen Craft. It's a little earlier. Coronet. This is CO 591. And like Marigold, it's very hard to find Fluffy Rose on Coronet. On both sides. And it'll have the Coronet back stamp. Yellowstone. We have a dinner plate and a platter, 2 sprigs, platinum edge line. Let's see when this come out. It was 1933, same year Virginia Rose was introduced. And finally, Wells. It's a little unusual to see Fluffy Rose on Wells. This comes from the collection of Delida Pedersen. And we have a dinner plate, 6-inch plate, teacup and saucer, the Wells handle. It's good to have that handle in there because none of these pieces are marked. So that's a good identifier. I should say this one is marked. It's marked Tudor Rose. So what happened, this was meant for Quaker Oats. There must be a little imperfection somewhere that since it's less than perfect, it got mixed in with Wells set. That happens. You'll find Tudor Rose pieces mixed in Wells sets quite often, honestly. But we have the Baker, which is a good piece to have, even though these aren't marked. This has a treatment number. It also says, our wedding gift, let's see, our wedding set gift, 1934. Someone wrote that on there. And it has our treatment number for this. It's W4643. So this 1 sprig with the green edge line is 4643. I do want to mention something about the treatment number on Wells. I'll do a little sidebar. I didn't really want to get into this too much, but if you find a Wells treatment number like this one, it's generally going to be 4 digits long, and most often it's going to end in 23, 33, 43, or 53. Those are the group numbers for Wells treatments. So this is pattern number 46 from group 43. It is not the 4,643rd treatment of Wells. There aren't nearly that many. So I pulled another piece to show treatment numbers. This is Red Beauty with black trim, no platinum. We have 3 markings on the bottom. There's your Homer Laughlin underglaze back stamp, the Peacock overglaze decal, and the treatment number W5923. So this is the 59th treatment of the 23rd group. So again, 23, 33, 43, 53. Those are the group numbers for Wells. Also known a couple treatments from Trellis. Now, if it ends in like a 70 or 71, all the way up to 80, I think there's like a 75 and 77, those are treatments that are picked up from Quaker, which we'll get into that once we look at the Quaker shape in more detail. But I did want to mention that since we're looking at this particular treatment number, that there are group numbers for Wells. But we'll look at that more in the future, I'm sure. So that's going to be it. You can find this treatment on other shapes other than the ones I've shown here. This is really fun to collect. If you get into collecting VR-128 on Virginia Rose, then you can add all these extra pieces in. So it just never ends. So next time, we will look at Homer Laughlin demi-task cups and saucers.